Thank you, Dolores, again for handling the mic for this. So first we're going to hear from Teresa.
Comments, we would be remiss if we didn't recognize revolutionary fighters from Chile. I want to recognize Victor Toro, Nieves, and Vicky Aires. For young people who are not aware, uh, 73, the U.S. CIA killed Salvador Allende, and it was part of a revolutionary upheaval in Chile at that time. And these three comrades were in the forefront of battling the fascist government of Chile. Were tortured, victimized. We have fought for an end to the deportation of Compañero Victor and Juan. And so, these are steeled revolutionary communists that we are honored to have here. I also want to point out, that our campaign is in the process of getting itself together, right? And getting the material to reflect everything has been a lot of hours. And I'm sorry that Comrade had to leave, but I want him to know that we do have the case of Sister Afia as one of our political producers on the 10-point program. Very long, but very important to raise all these cases. I also want to recognize a comrade who is working very hard with other young members of the party to figure out how young people can come together in our organization to support the movement that Moorhead and Lily are talking about. How are we going to organize at the Democratic and Republican convention? What else should we do to disrupt that sort of thing? And so Comrade Scott, who was, please stand, he is a young member of the party, and he is also, he's really in effect the co-campaign manager, but on the literature, he's the press coordinator. And you will be hearing in the coming days, what our young comrades and allies and others are going to be doing to jump up the campaign even more. I just want to highlight that the slogans of the campaign, which may change, but hopefully, literature will change, but not necessarily the main demands are uh, abolish capitalism, disarm the police and the immigration agents, fight for socialist revolution, and defend the Black Lives Matter movement. Those are the four principal slogans of the party, which are groundbreaking, and I think that members of the Black Panther Party would support that. I'm sure of it. Now, we didn't necessarily put together a follow-up meeting about what you can do to build a movement in this period, to talk about revolutionary socialism. What more can we do to support the People's Power Assembly movement that are carrying out these amazing actions all the time? What more can we do? And so we want to hold a follow-up New York meeting, which I don't have the date for, but make sure that you sign up so that we can contact you about a follow-up Moorhead Lilly campaign meeting. In the meantime, there's some things that you can do. As I said, we're trying to get on the ballot. We're trying to get on the ballot because we want to do outreach for the party. We want to talk about revolutionary socialism. We want to go to Mississippi. We want to use the issue of getting on the ballot to do outreach. We're not going to get dug in. If there's a rebellion in Baltimore again or somewhere else, we're going to drop all of this bullshit, with the ballot and all that. We're going to drop it, and we're going to go there, and we're going to support the struggle in the streets. But in the meantime, we want to use getting on the ballot as a way to get out to workers and talk about why they shouldn't support Trump and what it really means. And we want to have classes on the economic crisis because all of that, what's going on with the fascist Trump, with Hitler Trump, is all about the economic crisis. And we have a great a book, Capitalism at a Dead End, that the Morehead Lilly campaign wants to have classes to study these kinds of things. We need money. We need a lot of money. We need to be able to send people to Baltimore. Comrade Sharon and Comrade Andre are actually running for city council and what's the other position? Mayor.
Wow.
Senior citizen moment. And we want to go and possibly help them get on the ballot. And we want to send people there for the entire weekend to do petitioning there and see how that goes. We need money to get people there. So we're asking for you to give checks, or if you have $1 or $10, I forgot to get a basket organized, but I know that my comrades will jump to it and get a basket.
They'll get that quick.
And give some cash. If you have a checkbook, we will take $5, $50, $500, $5,000. If Bernie Sanders can do it, so can we. And if you want to write a check, you can make it out to WWP 2016 campaign. So those are some of the things that you can do. It's very difficult times for our class. The unabated killing of oppressed people in the streets, the deportations, the economic crisis. But we know that we're in a period of revolutionary upheaval around the corner. All we need to do is get prepared for that revolutionary upheaval. And long live Workersville Party, long live the Black Panther Party, all power to the people.
This has really been a great discussion, and we need to figure out how to continue this discussion because there's so much below the surface that we haven't even touched. And I think that what we should do is think about more classes on the legacy of the Black Panther Party. Because the Black Panther, it's not just about Black History Month. You know, we started a discussion because it is Black History Month and it is the 50th anniversary of the Black Panther Party and all that it meant, you know, to the struggle then and also what it means for the struggle now. But that was founded in October of 1966, which means we have all year to discuss, you know, the Black Panther Party, the ideological, you know, program of the party, the mass work that it did in the streets, the international work that it did, because the film, which has gotten some praise, but also has gotten criticism, because from some of the Black Panther, you know, members, because it didn't go more into the legacy of Huey Newton or Bobby Seale, or what about George Jackson, you know, who was killed over 50 years ago, or 55, no, almost 50 years ago, over 40 years ago. You know, the fact that it came out of the Black Power movement, which is also, this is the 50th anniversary of the founding of the Black Power movement, led by Kwame Ture and Jamil Al-Amin, who back then was H. Rap Brown, coming out of SNCC. There's so much history that is buried and has been co-opted, you know, by the ruling class that we need to unearth, not only for ourselves, but for this new generation of revolutionaries. So I think what I would like to do is propose, and I talked to Lamont about this, is that we dedicate our campaign for the rest of the year to the legacy of the Black Panther Party. That we do that, like we're doing for the Black Lives Matter movement, that we dedicate our campaign, because our campaign is a struggle-oriented campaign, and we really want to, you know, infuse revolutionary optimism and inspiration for this new generation of revolutionaries who are coming up and really want to know more about the Black Panther Party. When this film came out it came out in 2013, but when it was reintroduced just a couple of weeks ago, I heard that Twitter, I mean, young people were talking about it on Twitter and how excited they were to learn more about the Black Panther Party. So why can't we help provide that information through classes and through literature and propaganda and just being in the streets in general? So anyway, I just wanted to, you know, make that declaration for our campaign. Thank you.
Larry, are you? Great. Next, isn't it?
A short point about the Sanders campaign. We are not for the Bernie Sanders campaign. We have an interest in it because it's something new to many people, perhaps young people. Socialism is involved, although Bernie Sanders is not a socialist. He's a liberal, basically. You know, so we watch it, and we think about how we can interact with people who are participating in it, you know, and pull them even more to the left. You know. There is the South Carolina primary today. When we get home, you know, if you choose, if you can stand it without regurgitating, you'll watch the results of that. You know, watching bourgeois media during the election, oh God, you need a lot of stomach medicine. You know, but it is widely expected that the Sanders campaign won't do well in South Carolina because a large section of the electorate is African American, and those who come out are expected to vote for Hillary Rodham Clinton. We'll find out whether that's true. Now, comrades, sisters, and brothers, you know, we must try to be realistic and not just make cheap shots. It's not easy, but it's necessary. Who knows whether there's anything that Bernie Sanders might have done to change what the outcome may be in South Carolina or any other primary. You know, maybe he tried to have a press conference with some of his quite important and notable black supporters, like Harry Belafonte and Michelle Alexander and now Spike Lee and whatever. And maybe they boycotted the press conference. And I wouldn't put the bourgeois press hasn't given Sanders an iota of the coverage that they give Trump. Trump doesn't need to spend money; they're always there. We were going live to a Trump speech. It's just incredible how the bourgeois media has helped him. That said, though, there's a point about socialism, revolutionary socialism, and the struggle against racism and national oppression. You cannot be a real socialist or communist and in your work subordinate the struggle against racism and national oppression to a secondary consideration. You can't do it. If not, stop calling yourself a socialist. Call yourself something else, a populist, whatever. You cannot subordinate this struggle. If you do that, you will only help divide our class, which may be what Bernie Sanders is doing. I mean, the jury's not in. Maybe something more interesting will happen, if not tonight, later. What is often the reason why phony socialists like Bernie Sanders, and I'm not saying we're going to call them phony socialists, but we're amongst friends. I hope we're amongst friends. Not quite socialist, something else. One of the reasons why, and also some people who are, frankly, some groups who are more socialist commit the same error. Hello, what we're talking about, Thomas. What is the reason why they do this? They do this often because they are worried that if they talk too much about racism, they will alienate white workers. And they say, we want unity. We don't want to alienate anybody. And so let's not talk too much about racism. Oh yeah, we're against it. Move on to the next subject. Because, there's millions of white voters and they don't want them to alienate them. Well, you know what? We don't dismiss those white workers. Whoever they are, wherever they are, whatever their level of consciousness or the absence of it, we don't dismiss them. We refine a message to them. But we will not subordinate the call to fight racism and national oppression just because some white workers don't like it and are not ready to hear it. We would never do it because it's a Faustian bargain. What you end up with at the end is a working class that is split and you're on the weak side.
Okay, I want to thank everyone for coming today to, so actually let's all give each other a round of applause to our panelists and to all of you for being here. So I want to invite you all to stay for dinner and socialize. The way we want to encourage people to do it is to go row by row just to make it a little bit more efficient. So maybe we'll start to the back and go row by row. I'm not